I'm trying to get a sense of the weapons left on the table, the moves, the punishing nature of what it means to be in negotiations against not just a media company, but in Comcast, something that is doing deals with media companies like WBD, right? The difference between being, give me the term of art, John, between being a media company like TNT versus a cable company, now more than that in Comcast.
Well, what's interesting, of course, is it's already been speculated that NBC may have included in their calculations for doing an NBA deal the fact that they would be taking it from a company that's going to be asking them for distribution fees. It was reported this week, I believe, by John Arand, that the deal, that last deal that Turner did, not WBD, but TNT, TBS, True TV, perhaps among other channels, ends deliciously December 31st, 2025, which will be about 2 months into the new NBA deal that NBC holds.
So once again, they'll be entering into those negotiations without the NBA, just only a few months out, so ratings might dip for just those few months. But the parent company, NBC, regardless, could be looking to save some of that money that they gave the NBA on the TNT deal.
They're holding their larger company, Comcast, will have the opportunity to renegotiate the fees that they pay True TV, TBS, TNT at that point. It has been reported that TNT gets $3. TBS probably gets something not too far from that. True TV gets something very far from that.
Out of the monthly cable bill.
Out of the monthly, well, it's not a monthly, it's out of the monthly cable bill, not directly. The distributor pays for the content. They then put it in a bundle of content. They mark it up an appropriate amount or an inappropriate, depending on what you think, amount, and that's what they charge the consumer. The consumer has no idea what they're paying for TBS, TNT, and True TV.
The consumer may not know what they're paying for, but all they know, that package now does not include the NBA. So how attractive really is going to be that package? Comcast will consider this in their renegotiations.
But this deal will come up, interestingly enough, at the end of 25. Let's say that they're getting approximately somewhere between $5 and $7. That means if they don't renew the deal, and let's say they have 12 million subscribers at the time, that's somewhere between $60 and $84 million a month. They did just buy at one of the networks, TNT or TBS, 2 college football games, one of which may be on the first day they'd be off the air. That holds some power. I don't think it has enough power to prevent Comcast from saying, we're not going to pay you $9 next year, nor $8, nor $7. We'd like to pay you less. And just as Comcast just took Diamond off for what, about 3 months?
Regional Sports Network. Yep.
They'll take these channels off the air, and they can take that money, theoretically, off of the price they paid for the NBA. Oh, we paid $2.5, yeah, but we'll save about $75 million every month they're not on the air. I do not believe all that matters then is whether some of their 12 million or so subscribers at the time decide, oh, I want to see that college game bad enough that I'm going to switch to somebody else, YouTube TV or the new cable bundle that will feature all the sports channels, which includes True TV, TBS, and so there'll be a big fight here. And I do believe that this will cost WBD some money because they're either going to get lower distribution fees or they're going off the air for some period of time in January 2026.
Man.
I just wanted to simplify 2 things that were said there. I'm trying to follow, and I did, but I just want to say, make sure I have this right. When you can do a deal where you make yourself stronger, but you also make your opponent weaker, that increases the breadth of the victory that you have by doing a deal. Is there a world where Comcast and NBC got together and said, if we get the NBA and TNT doesn't, not only do we have the NBA and TNT doesn't, But also, we have as part of our world a cable company called Comcast, where people pay us every month to get cable channels. One of the cable channels we get that we give our customers is TNT. But now who wants TNT? It's a bunch of SVU and Law and Order. There's going to be no basketball, maybe a football game once in a while.
Yeah,
maybe
TBS
some
is going to
tennis.
have some college football
They'll have
games,
the French
yeah.
Open. They've got stuff. But
Stanley Cup
without...
playoffs.
And that old business model, just TNT bundling so many things, TBS and TNT will get some of the top-notch games while TBS will get some other games that you want, followed by, let's say, if they had a local network. Very similar to ESPN having ABC. They put the finals on that local network. That type of bundling worked under the old model. But when it comes to streaming, audiences don't really have the patience for that. It's more direct to consumer. It's more on demand. You watch it when you want it, however you want it. You can hit pause and come back and watch it another day. But that very same bundling is hurting Comcast customers. They're paying a lot more money for it. It has far more programming that they don't want versus what they want. And by NBC doing the deal, they just cut out the middleman. They no longer have to pay a premium on a TNT package just to offer their customers.
Without the NBA, people are really not going to want TNT the way they did. Therefore, we're not going to pay TNT for its content the way we did. Therefore, we're going to save money. And therefore, we can take some of that savings and apply it to what we spent to ruin them by getting the NBA. Boy, that is Machiavellian. And it's not impossible that that's part of the calculation, but that really is something else. And you're either going to be right or wrong, because if there's a carriage dispute at the end of 25, that does save Comcast $60-70 million a month. That's significant.
It is significant. And look, if another party,
And it makes sense for the overpay. That's where TNT really messed up, is allowing for that wiggle room of NBC coming in there, even throwing an NFL type deal for just a B package. Now allowing Comcast to have extra leverage in coming to negotiations with Turner Sports. They possibly could save enough money to justify overpaying for the NBA.
you had actually kept the NBA or had lost, it doesn't matter. They would have the cable dispute. And I don't think it was Machiavellian. That's smart. You're going to look at everything. You're going to look at the promotional power of the NBA to drive your other sports, right? During Olympic year, they can take the NBA and all those ratings and drive Olympics ratings up. They will save money. Comcast will save money from fees they don't have to pay TNT. Sure, they figured all that out. I don't believe, it's funny that we disagree on the sort of negotiating during a exclusive negotiating window, but I don't see anything wrong with NBC having done all that. They're not violating anything to look at all the benefits they'll receive from paying for a new NBA deal. It might help them launch broadcast shows on NBC.
Correct, and that's another layer to this whole puzzle, is the content creation around live sports. What's going to be the new First Take kind of style of shows, the new Undisputeds? It's not a coincidence a lot of these shows are dying down just as streaming is about to take off with live sports. And the viewing audience's interaction with some of these live shows, it might not work under that streaming format. The whole suit and tie, pre-game and post-game show for an hour with these interviews. Remember, these games are going to be on platforms where you could just hit one button, then 20, 30 movies and documentaries all pop up in one screen. So there is going to be plenty of room for more attention-grabbing kind of formats of what's going to be the new pre-game show or post-game show under streaming and all the other undisputed First Take kind of shows. It wouldn't shock me if this will become a brand new marketplace for online personalities not only to shine, but to also collect the bag.
A distributor, a cable distributor, is a buyer and a seller. WBD is trying to sell. I mean, it's just funny that as much as we are looking ahead to Amazon and the tech future that has been now the NBA's goal in that C tier, third tier package, we're also watching the backroom knifing
That's why our Justice Department is so busy
with cable television networks and distributors.
I don't see what they have to deal with here. These companies compete. They're competing fairly.
Not in this case. I was talking about the mergers that happen.
Okay.
They are definitely competing, but the lines are blurred because now with the media sort of infusing within tech, it opens them up to different markets that they normally would have never participated in. Amazon is really products based, but now they're doing live sports. Same thing for NBC Studios and ESPN. They were once just local broadcasting networks. Now they're offering streaming directly to consumers, no different than Netflix. And if Netflix is looked at as a tech company, what does that make ESPN? So the technology has allowed the lines to be blurred as different players now have their hands in different marketplaces, offering different products to their customers. But we'll see how this plays out. The contract language that these sports leagues will have to have entering into the world of streaming is going to be a lot different. There has to be access to the audience data and also a way to track the ratings. When those 11 years are up, who will the NBA, the NFL, MLS, WNBA, what numbers and data will they be presenting to not only future streamers, but also the ones they're currently in partnership with? The lines are also blurred there too, because all the metrics will be coming from those same companies handing out the checks. A third-party data tracking would be more logical. But hey, this is all truly the new Wild West.